Well, guess it's time for something else. And what's better than talking about Half-Life? Seriously, everyone loves this series. Is there anything I've got to say about Half-Life that hasn't been said already? Half-Life is almost as legendary as its fabled third installment. It's one of the most influential and important game series ever. It's in the same conversation as Doom, The Witcher 3, Super Mario 64, and Ocarina of Time, as one of these pinnacles of video game entertainment. And 24 years ago today, the original Half-Life was released. And so, today I want to pay tribute to this franchise, to some of my favorite games. Developed by Valve and published by Sierra Entertainment, which pissed off Valve off so much that they made their own game store, which is pretty based if you ask me. The first Half-Life was pretty influential in gaming from the moment it was released. It single-handedly ended the era of boomer shooters in the sense that, while Half-Life went all in on the lore and the story it had to tell, the shooters at the time, however, were like, here's your lore, now go shoot some demons and find randomly colored keycards. But anyways,
it starts with
an introductory train sequence to really set the atmosphere, and give you time to do your basic human needs, because you're going to be sitting down for the next 9 hours. In this game, you play as a white guy with glasses and a goatee, Gordon Freeman, a theoretical physicist at the Black Mesa Research Center who has the worst day ever at work. You think your 9 to 5 is bad? You didn't open portals to other dimensions, dooming your coworkers to unforeseen consequences and having the military intervene, not in the good way. So, your task in this game is pretty much to get the hell out of here. Good luck. It's not exactly controversial to say that this game changed a lot in gaming. Compared to the other FPS games that were coming out at the time, Half-Life is pretty much on a rail. It's a story-centric experience that benefits from the interactions and the puzzles rather than the gore, even if the blood and guts are still pretty good. But even though the game might be more linear, it still has the standard FPS gun arsenal: a pistol, a revolver, a shotgun, a machine gun. It even has some oddities in the form of the gluon gun and the Gauss cannon. It's safe to say that this game was a big hit. It won a lot of awards, and was even called the best game of 1998. Naturally, fans were going to be content with just that first game, so Valve started throwing the idea of making expansion packs. And since Valve were a little busy building what would become Steam, these expansion packs were developed by Gearbox, who made 2 whole new campaigns. Opposing Force was the first of the 2 DLCs that Half-Life got. You play as the Marine Adrian Shepard. Why? Because Freeman is a nerd. Forget about Freeman. In Opposing Force, instead of killing aliens, you kill and commit war crimes on the hundreds of defenseless scientists. It's almost as if the military found oil on Black Mesa or something, eh? Well, this DLC is regarded as the best for Half-Life. Why? Well, not only because the other DLC is lackluster, but also because the single best character in the franchise makes an appearance here: Otis. I love Otis. The other campaign that Gearbox made was Blue Shift, which wasn't really supposed to be an expansion pack in the first place. Yeah, that's right. Since Half-Life sold a stupid amount of copies and got huge, it was pretty much mandatory for Valve to port it into every modern console imaginable. And when it came time to port it to the Dreamcast, they ran into a problem. The game was too big for the Dreamcast. So Gearbox decided to make this alternative campaign for the Dreamcast port. In this one, you play as Barney Calhoun, a security guard who is at the wrong place at the wrong time and needs to get the hell out of here. It might be the weakest expansion pack Half-Life got, but keep in mind it wasn't even intended to be a companion piece to the base game, but a consolation prize to those unfortunate enough to have bought a Dreamcast. Then there's the K. We don't talk about the K. So, the first game was great, fantastic, life-changing even, and the expansion packs that came with it, even if they were of varying quality, could be classified as different degrees of good. I know I make the game out to be like the single best FPS ever, which it very well might be. It's an excellent game, but nothing could prepare us for what was about to come. Half-Life 2 came out on the 16th of November 2004, and it's objectively one of the best video games, period. The technology Valve had been developing for 6 years is still being used today. The game was made with Valve's own in-house engine, the Source engine, which focused heavily on physics and scarily in-depth facial animations. Half-Life 2 was the reason why Steam was made because, like I said, Valve didn't want to deal with publishers. So next time you want to buy a game, remember, it was only made because Valve liked taking their time. It starts with the G-Man giving you a little speech, and then you're on a train. The game shows us a pretty realistic vision of how powerful Twitter will be in the next 5 years, as our great leader, Elon Musk, welcomes us into CD17. As we follow Freeman through the city and the surrounding areas, we meet up with the Resistance, led by Eli Vance, a scientist from the first game. In Half-Life 2 we're introduced to more than just aliens. In this game we face off against the Combine and their questionable ethics. The gameplay changed dramatically, yet the gunplay remained the same. There was a massive shift from shooting arenas to thinking with boxes, since in Half-Life 2 there is a great emphasis on puzzles. Which brings me to the greatest video game weapon ever. The gravity gun. You see that box? Boom, now it's in pieces. Enemies throwing grenades at you? Return to sender. Remember that enemies can throw grenades at you without your consent. To demonstrate the power of the gravity gun, I sawed the zombie in half. From moving boxes to creating distractions, to beating Ravenholm with this goddamn science experiment, the gravity gun quickly became the best tool in the series. This game is also part of an immaculate collection called the Orange Box. Think about this. Half-Life 2, a game that refuses to die even after years without updates, and a passionate side project, and all of them are somehow equally fantastic. Oh yeah, the Orange Box also contained 2 DLCs in the form of episodes for Half-Life 2. Episode 1 is the blue shift of Half-Life 2. Not bad, but it's certainly the weakest link in the chain, at least when it comes to Half-Life 2. The game is set in the aftermath of the base game, and now you have to escape the war-torn Series 17 and move on with the plot. There isn't much more to say about episode 1, it's a solid continuation to the base game. But the second episode would blow it out of the water. Oh yeah, and you end the episode by train. How funny. To round out the duology of Half-Life 2 episodes, we have episode 2, a wonderfully tense, almost cathartic collection of events. For me, it's almost as good as the base game. We pick up where episode 1 left us, on a train. Wreck. Well, that was an unforeseen consequence. I sure hope this trend doesn't go on in this episode. Another unforeseen thing up until now have been the Hunters. A terrifyingly mobile robot dog that is very difficult to kill, especially when there's more than one. And yet another newcomer is Noam Chomsky, the second best character in the entire lore. Along the way we see G-Man again, who doesn't show interest in us anymore, and Eli, who tries to have us fuck his daughter Alex. And during the end, I don't only cry because the scene is very sad, but because this is the last bit of Half-Life we got for like 13 fucking years. But episode 2 isn't the last bit of Half-Life content we got. Almost a decade ago, a team of mad lads that called themselves the Crowbar Collective decided to remake the original Half-Life, but with blackjack and hookers. Black Mesa is a very good remake of the events that went down on, well, Black Mesa. The game actually started out for free as a passion project, but Valve ended up giving them a way to fund the game through putting the game on Steam, and also putting it on the front page when they released it. Based move, Valve. And then there's Hound Down the Freeman, which is a fan game with the quality of a DeviantArt fanfiction. It's absolutely hilarious when it isn't trying to be. It's pretty much the Breaking Bad of Half-Life games. So, it's not exactly a hot take to say that Half-Life is importantly good. It's a quintessential piece of sci-fi media, and an even more essential game. It's something that I believe every gamer should experience at least once in their lifetime. It's one of those must-plays that really earned its reputation. Also, I'm well aware there's a lack of Half-Life Alyx talk in this video. I would have played Half-Life Alyx for this video, but sadly I don't have enough money to really justify buying a VR headset. But I hear it's up to standards with Valve's usual level of quality. But in the end, Half-Life is and will always be a staple. We all know Gaben could pretty much break the internet by rolling onto an E3 stage holding 3 fingers up. Like, seriously, is there any other game that is so good that they can just put the engine on Steam and it makes for an amazing game? Yeah, thought so. Also, how the